Hello, beautifuls. My name is Bo Yee, and I am the founder of IBelieveInLoveAgain.com. So today I want to answer a question that I got from John Scott. He's been wondering how my brain spotting sessions have been going. He wants to know what results I've been getting because a few weeks ago I mentioned that I got my very first brain spotting session ever and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. And since then I've had two more brain spotting sessions. So I've had three brain spotting sessions in about the span of 1 month, I think. Something like that. I'm talking a little bit lower because there's a baby sleeping like a few doors down the hall. So I just want to make sure I don't wake the baby. Okay, but anyway, I took some notes and I want to mention 5 results that I have noticed from my brain spotting sessions. Well, before I go into those 5 results, I want to kind of let you know what brain spotting is if you're not familiar, like what a session is like. So basically, with brain spotting, first of all, it's to help people who've experienced trauma to basically heal that trauma at a much faster rate than you would experience with regular talk therapy. And so that's why I personally was really interested in this, because for me, I'm always interested in accelerating my healing process. Brain spotting is more expensive than regular talk therapy. So I'm very fortunate because I have victim witness compensation, because when I had testified against my stepdad who abused me when I was a child, I won the court case. My stepdad was found guilty on all charges, and one of the things that the judge granted me was victim witness compensation, which basically means that the state of California compensates me for therapy, and usually for most victims, that's what they call it in California, they get so many sessions granted to them. However, when you reach that end point, that so for me, I think I was granted like 45 sessions total, and then let's say at session 45 my therapist decides she thinks that I really do need more therapy to heal, then she would request that I get more sessions from the state of California, and more times than not it is granted, and so then I get another bulk of sessions. And then the same thing, if at the end of that number of sessions my therapist feels like I need more, then she can request for more. So I'm in a very fortunate state because I get to, I didn't mean like in California, but just, but perhaps so too, because California, they do help their victims out a lot more. But I'm just very fortunate in general because I have victim witness compensation, because I know without it, it's very expensive. Therapy can be very expensive. So just so you kind of have some background information, I have 2 therapists at the moment. I'm actually going to have 3 therapists soon. Like, I'm telling you guys, I'm investing a lot in myself, a lot of time, energy. I just want to do everything I possibly can to help myself thrive. Like, why not? I finally feel like I deserve it. I'm not going to let anything stop me. I'm going to heal all the way. So I have a regular talk therapist I normally see on Thursdays, and then now I have a brain spotting therapist, and I see her on Mondays usually. And my talk therapist, I've had about 21 sessions with her now. I've been seeing her for many months now. I don't know how many months, but because there were times when I would see her like once a week, but then there were times when we would skip a few weeks here and there as well, because she would get busy or I would get busy. But anyway, let's go to the results of my brain spotting so far. So I've had 3 brain spotting sessions within the last month. Okay, and the first thing I want to say, which is so interesting, I feel like I'm so much more aware of myself and my emotions, and deeper than that, I'm more aware of why I get triggered sometimes. Like, I'm starting to become more aware of what the underlying messages are, my underlying needs that I feel are unmet sometimes when I get triggered. I'm realizing what those are, and this is huge for me. So when I'm more aware, I'm also able to be more honest with myself. And I feel like only when you're honest with yourself can you really make progress in your healing journey. Because if you're not honest with yourself, you're never going to really tackle the real problem that you have, because you're in denial. So the first step is to get out of the denial stage and just know that, hey, you've got things you got to work on. You identify what those issues are and you tackle them, you work on them, you know? So yeah, so that's the first thing. With now that I've had 3 brain spotting sessions, in lieu of, or not in lieu of, but in addition to me getting regular talk therapy weekly too, I'm making a lot of progress. I feel like my self-awareness level has shot up by a lot. The second thing is I feel less triggered overall. Like there's certain situations that can trigger me, and I still can get triggered here and there, but I feel like even if I do get triggered now, like my triggers are way less intense. Yeah, which is awesome. And then the way I respond to my triggers, like I'm not as reactive. Like I might still react a little bit, but while I'm reacting, I'm aware of myself and I'm realizing, hey, I know I just got triggered. I am in the middle of reacting right now. And so when I have that awareness, I'm able to like stop reacting. I'm able to like kind of put a pause on my reaction. So the reaction is not as intense. It doesn't last as long. And it gets better over time. There was one time I did get triggered. I did not even realize I was like triggered, and then I reacted, but I still made some progress because it didn't take me long after getting triggered for me to like just take a step back, think about what happened, and be honest with myself. Like what was that? What did I need? You know, what was the underlying reason I was being triggered? And also I talk with a few close friends about like, you know, what goes through my mind when I'm triggered, or just, you know, just like when I do think I've figured out the underlying reason behind my trigger. Sometimes I kind of bounce these ideas off of my friends, and then they like will give me their feedback, which is really helpful. And if they agree with me, they'll let me know. If they think I'm not being honest with myself, they'll like call me out on it, which I appreciate, because I have friends who call me out on things, and that's how I am with them. Like I value honesty more than most traits. That's like my one big thing of mine. Like I really appreciate relationships where we can be like that for each other, because I feel like that's true love, that's true friendship, when you're able to call each other out on each other's BS, basically, you know? I feel like only true friends do that for each other. And so for me, yeah, just less triggered overall, and in the situations where I still kind of get triggered, I'm able to be honest with myself like a lot faster afterwards. The third thing, and this might seem to contradict what I just said with the second thing, but the third thing is overall I'm able to feel more emotion when I do feel emotion. And it's been very interesting. Like I typically don't, at least from my own awareness so far, I don't think I typically feel like extreme anger, like rage, you know, like some people they can say like, hey, when I feel angry, I see red, or I'm angry, I want to punch something, I want to hurt someone, I'm angry, I want to break something, like that kind of anger. Like I've heard people talk about that kind of anger before, but I've never personally felt that until recently, until after Brainspotting, which was really interesting. And it was Brainspotting session number 2, where in the middle of it I did feel anger, and I was really scared of it because I'm not used to, I don't allow myself to feel anger. Sometimes I suppress it, and then it kind of boils up, and it might just kind of linger there, but I never like let it come out all the way. It wasn't safe for me to do so when I was younger, right? But anyway, in the middle of my second Brainspotting session, I remember feeling anger like kind of in that corner of my eye, like kind of front, but like to the side. And I remember asking my therapist, is this okay? Is it okay to feel anger? Like I was really scared, and she's like, no, it's okay. Like, go ahead. Just stay with it. And I was like, are you sure? Like I kept asking her, like, I think at least 2-3 times. I was like, are you sure it's okay? Is it like not wrong of me? Is it evil? Is it bad? She's like, no, it's fine. Just stay with it. And my anger got so intense during the Brainspotting. And then I started seeing weird images, like of me almost like being violent, I would say. And I explained to my therapist what I was seeing, and she's like, all right, just keep going, just work through it. I'm like, okay. And then eventually that intensity went away. I no longer felt the anger, and it just went away. And I remember like a few days after that Brainspotting session, in real life, I mean, outside of therapy, in my life, I felt anger one day, and it came from me being triggered over something. Okay, so I felt that I was triggered, and then after the trigger, I felt intense anger. And when I felt this anger, oh my gosh, it was crazy. I'd never felt this kind of anger before. I was so mad, I felt like I wanted to break something. And I had never, ever felt this way ever in my life, right? And it was interesting. Like, I didn't feel like out of control, like I was gonna actually do it. Like, I was still aware enough of myself to realize, okay, I know I want to break something, but if it's not safe to do so, I'm not going to do it right now. But I really, really want to break something. If I can find something, I'm going to break it. I want to break it. It was so weird, but at the same time, I felt like intrigued and happy on the inside in a way, because I never felt that before, and I was kind of excited, like, wow, I'm feeling something I've never felt before. Like, this is progress. Like, I'm allowing myself to feel my feelings. I'm not suppressing them anymore. And then I remembered all of a sudden, like, oh, my husband, he has like this punching bag, speed bag thing, whatever. And I asked my husband if I could punch it, and he said yes. And so I punched it literally for like 30 minutes straight, like nonstop. I kept punching, and I did not feel tired. I felt energized, and it was fun. And then I asked my husband, how do I hold a fist properly? And he showed me a few like boxing sort of punches, and it was kind of fun, because I was like learning a new skill while I was expressing my anger. And yeah, so that was very interesting. And not just anger, like and that was like one of the only times I felt anger was after the second Brainspotting session. And then after that, this was recent, this was maybe like 2 nights ago, I felt extreme joy, like really, like I felt a lot of joy. And I hadn't felt this joy in a long time, like this sort of really, it wasn't just like it wasn't like manic happiness. It was like a deep spiritual joy. I felt free. I felt open. I felt zealous for God. It felt amazing. And so I think that is probably a result of Brainspotting, that it's sort of like opening up my heart. It's making me feel more relaxed. Because when people experience trauma, sometimes they will suppress their emotions because they're scared of their emotions. They want to suppress them. Sometimes because they want to deny that they have trauma at all. They don't even want to think about it. So when they try to lie to themselves and say, nope, I'm fine. The trauma wasn't that bad. I didn't even experience trauma. It was just something that happened, but whatever, no big deal. People go through things. They'll minimize things, they'll deny things, and just try to live like a normal life. But what they're really doing is they're suppressing their emotions. They're denying how hurtful some of these abusive actions were towards them. And yeah, they don't really get to, you gotta feel in order to heal. That's a quote I heard somewhere. But you gotta feel in order to heal, and I really, really believe that. So I've just been excited that I've been able to feel like more, like a bigger spectrum of emotion, and I think that's healthy. And it makes life more enjoyable too, like, because yeah, like even though I felt more anger at one point, at the same time I was able to feel more joy, like a couple nights ago, because when you like on purpose try to suppress your emotions because you think you're protecting yourself, it really like spreads out to the other emotions. Like, so if you're trying hard not to feel anger, then you might not be able to feel love to its fullest extent, things like this. But in general, when you suppress your feelings, that you're not only suppressing the unhappy feelings, but you're suppressing the good feelings too. Okay, so next, number 4. Oh, this is cool. So overall, I feel less scared of my emotions, which sounds kind of silly, but like I said, I used to be really scared of feeling anger, but now when I feel anger, I'm not so scared. I'm more intrigued, and it's like, oh, this is different, and I just kind of allow myself to feel, and I know it's not going to last forever, and just knowing that helps me to stay calm and grounded. Yeah, and I'm realizing too, like, I have a lot of awesome spiritual Christian friends, and they always remind me, your feelings, even though we have intense feelings sometimes, feelings, you can't rely on them sometimes, because your feelings are not truth. It's very important to be rooted in truth, and when you are rooted in truth, which, you can get truth from the Bible. Like, if you want the real truth, like, just ground yourself in, like Proverbs, go to the book of Proverbs. That's one of my favorites. Like, those are things you can like apply to your life right away. The book of Proverbs is full of wisdom. Everything in there you can like literally apply like right now. And it's all based in truth, and so it's important, yes, to feel your emotions and whatnot, and allow yourself to feel in order to heal. But at the same time, you gotta like not let them overtake you, because you want to be rooted in truth and in reality, and not let your emotions like blind you from seeing the truth, because sometimes the truth doesn't match up with your feelings. Okay, the last thing. Oh, okay, this is kind of silly, but I wanted to mention it because I think it's kind of interesting. So you guys might notice that I have a little bow on today, and when my mom passed away, I think it was about 3 years ago, she passed away, and right after she passed away, it was really interesting, but something inside me totally shifted, and like a lot of things changed for me. But one thing I kind of want to mention, which was weird, I all of a sudden wanted to dress more modestly, and back then when my mom had passed away, I was not a Christian at that time, right? I was like really into the New Age world. I was into that stereotypical way of how you might think of hippie might dress. Like, I wore crop tops, no bras, belly was always out usually, just loose Harlem-like pants, and just, I did all that, I had that look going on, and my look looked very free and not modest. I mean, gosh, sometimes I'd like walk around with like a bikini top on, and yoga pants or whatever, shorts, and yeah. But anyway, after my mom passed away, I remember I wanted to dress modestly right after that, and so then I started wearing bras, and I started wearing dresses, and then I wanted to really dress femininely. And then I was trying to think back on how I used to dress when I was a little girl, because I thought, I read a quote somewhere that like people who are successful, if you look at, like if they're living their dreams, that's what I mean by successful in this context. If you see people who are living their dreams, if you look back on what they were passionate about when they were little kids, you'll see that what they're doing now is something usually they were passionate about when they were younger. And so I took that string of thought and I applied it to fashion, and I try to think on how I used to like to dress when I was little. And when I was little, I loved to wear accessories in my hair, dresses, frilly dresses. I love pink. I love, you know, girly colors. And so I for some reason I thought, okay, I'm going to apply that, and that sounds fun, and I'm going to do that, because if that made me happy when I was little, it'll probably make me happy now. And so for the last like 2-3 years, I've been really playing around with kawaii fashion, just here and there. Nothing full out. Like I never go full out Lolita with like wigs and all of that, you know, but just like little things like bows and dresses and petticoats. But something shifted with me in the last like couple of weeks, and I think it has to do with the Brainspotting. It's been really healing me like deeply, you know. And I think like me kind of wearing the bows and the fun like kawaii dresses, I think part of it does have to do with my trauma. You know, maybe I'm trying to like recapture my childhood or something like that. And another part of it is like I really do think it's cute and it's fun. But if I'm honest with myself, I would say some of it probably has to do with my trauma, right? Okay, and so anyway, like a week or two ago, like I've been thinking about wanting to wear smaller bows. I don't know, it's just been a natural progression now that I've been getting Brainspotting. And yeah, so I just ordered these and I got them, and I have one on, and I feel a lot better. The other day I did have a really gigantic bow on my hair, on my head, because a little kid had made it for me, and I thought it would make her feel special if I would wear it for her to appreciate her gift. But I mean, that's a bow I wouldn't be jumping up and down for right now to buy on my own, like with my own kind of money, because I don't know, it's like I don't want so much attention, you know. It's kind of, I don't know how to explain, but I joked with my husband and I said, honey, I'm gonna buy smaller bows because I think I'm growing up more now. And he kind of just chuckled. But so yeah, interesting updates. I've only had 3 Brainspotting sessions, but I kind of wanted to let you know how I'm doing. So I hope that was helpful to you, John Scott, and anyone else out there who's interested in Brainspotting. Oh, and by the way, if you enjoy my videos and you want to support my work, please consider becoming a patron, because YouTube barely pays me to do this kind of work. Like I can show you in a future video one day, but like for videos I have that I have thousands and thousands and thousands of views on, you know, like these videos that have to do with survivors and abuse, literally I'll get paid like 4 cents a month or 6 cents. I'm not even kidding. Like my content is not suitable for most advertisers. And then even like my most popular video, where I'm not even talking about abuse, I'm talking about health, that one has like over 1 million views, and with that one I make just pennies on as well. So if you want to be a supporter, you know, this has been helping you in some way, you can look at becoming a patron if you want, or you can do like a one-time donation, but all of that helps so much and I appreciate all of that. All right, have a beautiful weekend. Talk with you soon. Bye.